65,000 years ago, in a cave lit only by firelight, a group of children sat in a circle on a cold stone floor. They weren't hiding from predators. They weren't hunting. They weren't even eating. They were playing a game, rolling carved bones across the dirt, laughing, arguing over rules, celebrating a win. Stop and think about that for a second. Before humans built cities, before we invented writing, before the wheel, we invented games. That's not a coincidence. That's a clue about what makes us human. And by the end of this video, you're going to look at every board game night, every mobile game on your phone, every Sunday football match completely differently. If that idea just gave you chills the way it gave me chills, hit like right now. It genuinely helps this story reach more people. And trust me, this one gets wild. And if you're the kind of person who loves discovering the hidden history behind everyday things, subscribe. So here's the real question we're chasing today. What were the first games humans ever played? Not checkers, not chess, not even close. We're going back further than agriculture, further than permanent settlements. We're going back to a time when Homo sapiens were still sharing the planet with Neanderthals and somehow, in the middle of survival, hunger, and constant danger, we still made time to play. Let's set the scene properly. Picture the border cave on the edge of what is now South Africa, around 44,000 years ago. Archaeologists digging through layers of ancient sediment found something strange. Small notched bones deliberately carved with tally marks. Not tools, not weapons. Some researchers believe these were early counting or scoring devices. The ancestors of dice, of scorekeeping, of games with rules. Now travel north to modern-day Turkey and Jordan, where archaeologists uncovered carved stones, dating back over 5,000 years, arranged in patterns eerily similar to a game we still play today, Mancala. Yes, that same game sitting in your grandmother's closet with the little glass beads may trace its roots to the dawn of civilization itself. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. These early humans had no surplus food security, no hospitals, no safety net. Every single day was a fight against starvation, predators, and disease. And yet, they carved dice. They drew game boards into stone with their bare hands, using tools that took hours to make. They spent precious time, precious energy, and precious firelight not on survival, but on fun. Why would evolution allow that? Why would a species on the edge of extinction waste resources on games? That question haunted anthropologists for decades. And the answer, which we're about to unpack, connects directly to your brain right now. In 2026, scrolling, competing, laughing, and yes, clicking like on videos exactly like this one. Because here's the twist. Play isn't a distraction from survival. Play is survival. It's a hidden training simulator our ancestors built for the brain, and understanding it might explain everything from why toddlers play peekaboo to why eSports arenas sell out stadiums today. So let's answer that question head on. Why did a starving, struggling species carve out time to play games? The leading theory among evolutionary psychologists is something called play as practice. Here's the idea. Games are low-risk simulations of high-risk situations. When a child throws a spear-shaped stick at a target for fun, their brain is quietly rehearsing hunting. When two teenagers wrestle in the dirt laughing, their nervous systems are actually mapping out combat, negotiation, and social hierarchy without anyone getting seriously hurt. Modern neuroscience backs this up in a big way. Researchers studying play behavior in both humans and animals, from wolf pups to human toddlers, have found that play activates the prefrontal cortex, the brain's center for decision-making, risk assessment, and social bonding. Every time our ancestors played a game involving strategy, counting, or bluffing, they were literally strengthening neural pathways used for hunting, trading, and forming alliances. Now here's where it gets genuinely fascinating. Those notched bones we mentioned from Border Cave? Some researchers believe they weren't just for games. They may represent one of the earliest forms of mathematics, tally marks, counting systems, the building blocks of numbers themselves, possibly born not from trade or farming, but from keeping score in a game. Let that sink in. Math might have started as a way to settle an argument over who won. And it wasn't just about brain power. It was about bonding. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer tribes, like the Hadza in Tanzania, one of the last remaining groups, living a lifestyle similar to our ancient ancestors, have observed something remarkable. Game-playing sessions function as social glue. They diffuse tension between rival families. They let low-status individuals gain respect through skill rather than strength. They create shared memory and laughter that binds a fractured mobile group together. Here's a question for you. Pause for a second and actually think about it. When was the last time a game brought you closer to someone? A family board game night, a phone game with a friend across the world, a pickup basketball game with strangers who became buddies? Drop your answer in the comments below. I genuinely want to know, because I think you'll be surprised how ancient that feeling really is. Now let's fast forward because the story only gets bigger. By around 3500 BCE in ancient Mesopotamia, we find the royal game of an elegant board game found buried in royal tombs, complete with beautifully carved dice and rule books written on clay tablets. This wasn't a children's toy. Kings played it. It was buried with the dead, suggesting people believed games mattered enough to bring into the afterlife. Around the same era in ancient Egypt, the game Senet appears in tomb paintings, believed to represent the soul's journey through the underworld. A board game, quite literally, symbolizing life, death, and fate itself. Think about that progression. Games start as survival simulations, then evolve into spiritual rituals, then become symbols of royal power, and eventually status symbols, gambling tools, and finally, in our era, billion-dollar global industries. This is the pattern historians are only now piecing together, using new archaeological dating, techniques, isotopic analysis, and even AI-assisted pattern recognition on ancient carvings. What used to be dismissed as just old toys is now being recognized as some of the strongest evidence we have for how early human cognition, math, and society actually developed. And here's the human psychology twist that ties it all together. Our brains are wired to seek out structured challenge, with clear rules and win conditions, because that structure trains us for the chaos of real life. A game gives your brain a safe space to fail, adapt, and try again, something raw survival never allowed. Which means every time you played Monopoly until 2 a.m., every time you rage quit a video game and came back an hour later, every time you played cards with your grandfather as a kid, you were doing something almost identical to what a Stone Age child did 65,000 years ago, sitting by a fire, rolling a carved bone across the dirt. We're the same species, same instinct, just different materials. Now, here's where it gets even more surprising. Because the story of ancient games isn't just history, it's still shaping your life right now in ways you've probably never noticed. Let's bring this all the way back to today, because this isn't just a history lesson. It's a mirror. Right now, in 2026, the global gaming industry is worth more than the film and music industries combined. Mobile games, console games, eSports arenas packed with 20,000 screaming fans watching other people play video games live. On the surface, that sounds like a modern phenomenon. Technology, screens, dopamine loops engineered by app designers. But here's the surprising truth. None of this is new. It's the same instinct our ancestors had, 65,000 years ago, just wearing a different costume. The carved bones became dice. The dice became board games. The board games became card games. Then arcade cabinets, then consoles, then smartphones in your pocket. The medium changed. The urge never did. Think about that the next time you catch yourself scrolling through a puzzle game at 1 a.m., telling yourself just one more round. That's not weakness. That's 65,000 years of evolutionary wiring, telling your brain that structured challenge with clear rules feels safe, feels satisfying, and helps you rehearse skills for real life. Here's a modern research angle. Psychologists studying flow state have found that games are one of the most reliable triggers for it. Our ancestors likely experienced this exact same flow state, crouched around a fire, focused entirely on the roll of a bone die. And there's something deeply emotional hiding in all of this too. Every family game night, every childhood memory of playing tag until the streetlights came on. That's one of the oldest, most deeply human behaviors we have. They didn't play because life was easy. They played because life was hard. Games were how they practiced hope, practiced connection, practiced trying again after losing. So here's a genuine question to sit with. What game from your own childhood shaped who you are today? Hit subscribe if you want more stories like this, where we take something you thought was ordinary and show you it's actually ancient, strange, and deeply human. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next story.